Welcome, welcome, welcome. This one comes from the very bottom of this girlie's heart. Welcome to the show. Man, it's been a full week, literally, of me going on a mini sabbatical outside of the province. Needed and important for the soul. But man, you know, home is where the heart is. So wherever I go, I'll always come back. So hello, I come back. It's out and about. I am Puleng Molebatsi on the driver's seat again. I love it, I love it, I love it. How are you doing this morning? Where you going? Where were you last night? Where are you going today? Where are you going tomorrow? Who are the people that you're hanging out with? Man, you know how beautiful it is to hear someone that is your girlie or your guysy, your friend, and give you a shout out on the air. That's a beautiful feeling. Let me know. On social media at Channel Africa One. That's on all our social media handles. You can let me know about your day and also who you're going to be hanging out with. And I'm going to tell you just now who's going to be hanging out with me in studio today. Great individuals who do such wonderful things, make life beautiful and colorful. And we want to take this moment to appreciate them. So let's get into what is happening on Out and About this morning. We're going to be talking about clean eating with a convenience, and that's where technology comes to mind, right? So if you could have an app that is not complicated, know so much because of the data that you put in there, is able to prep your meals, knowing exactly what you prefer. If you're that person that's got a sweet tooth, you can still adhere to that or be able to cater to that, but with bearing in mind the fact that you are eating healthy, so that it becomes really effortless. It's the same thing as these features that they've added on our banking apps to save money passively. You know, I don't have to go and take 50 rand and put it aside. It's doing it for me, even though it was not with my permission, but it's there, you know. So that's what this conversation is going to be about. Effortlessly eating healthy using technology. That's what we're going to be talking about. And then my guest is out in Brussels. Is it Brussels or Brussels? He's going to be talking to me today about the newly created vaccine for pneumonia from a company called BioVac. And Hulisani is also coming through in the studio. She was like, girl, there's a hike that's taking place today. And I said, are you sure there's a cold front? And she's like, now you must understand that breath, taking fresh air. Yeah, taking a deep breath of fresh air contributes to our health and wellness. So she wants to invite everyone that is in the surrounding area in Johannesburg to go on a hike with her today. Okay, girl. So she's gonna be coming through to tell us about that initiative that she is spearheading. And my guest is bringing birds to the studio. Well, she won't be in here, but she's going to be with us virtually, where she's going to teach us about the art of bird whispering. So that's all I have in store for you for the next 3 hours. Take a journey with us. I'm not alone. Tumelo is here, as well as Matapelo. And we're going to kickstart the show with Kenkele. That's the name of the track. And the name of the artist is Buju. And they're featuring Wade Cole. So it's my warm musical welcome to Out and About. So enjoy.
Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
Money,
Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with
Exclusive at whatupniger.com.
Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
Quand tu prendras de l'âge, eh bien tu comprendras ce message. De l'ami de ton pèlerinage, et tu le reconnais par son plumage. Je ne parle pas de son visage. Je ne parle pas de sa voiture. Et non, je ne parle pas de son compte bancaire. Quand tu prendras de l'âge, eh bien tu comprendras ce message. Tu es l'ami de ton pèlerinage. Bébé, tu le reconnaîtras par son plumage. Mais moi je ne parle pas de son visage. Non, 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 non. Je ne parle pas de sa voiture. Mais moi je ne parle pas de son compte bancaire. Non, 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 non. Reste là pour mon éveil. Et moi j'ai bafoué tout mon orgueil. Mais ce soir on ira voir des écureuils, assis sur un nouveau fauteuil. Mais combien je ne parle pas de son visage. Non, non, non. Je ne parle pas de sa voiture. Non, 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 Reste là pour mon éveil. Et moi j'ai bafoué tout mon orgueil. Mais ce soir on ira voir des écureuils assis sur un nouveau fauteuil. Et combien je ne parle pas de son visage. Non, non, non. Non, 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 non. Non, 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 non. Quand tu prendras de l'âge, eh bien tu comprendras ce message. Et l'ami de ton pèlerinage, eh bien tu le reconnaîtras par son plumage. Mais moi je ne parle pas de son visage. Non, 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 non.
Sounds very, very, very good and very exotic, I must say. It's called A Wise Old Man, and it is by Sylvester Kabosidi. All right, so that brings us to this particular moment where we're just making way for big energy. And I say big energy because I met her just last week. I was out at the Durban Business Tourism Awards 2025 at the ICC, and she came through and said, you know what, I'm also going to be, I've already gotten the award and I want to be on. I'm like, on where, girl? I want to be on to talk about my category because, crafters are often overlooked and we play a vital role in the tourism sector. And I'm like, come to think of it, we don't think about, especially for provinces like KwaZulu-Natal, people like crafters who capture the essence of the dominant cultures in that province, and also people that work as castle builders, sand builders. When you go to Durban, for example, and you find this beautiful crafted artwork made out of sand, we don't really think about these people also play a big, big role in the tourism space. So when she talked about it, I'm like, girl, say no more. So no more. I got you. It's Gugu Bengu. I'm going to be speaking to her shortly after this. But right now, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, she's going to just give us a bit of DIY insights as a crafter, and how she grew into a beautiful business that is even touring and receiving awards.
Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio, but sadly, they do not guarantee that you'll be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
It's just a paranoia, me.
Because this fine shorty said she wanted up. I said I ain't ready, but she don't know my paranoia is heavy. So I said, baby, go slow and steady. Don't wanna fall in love when I'm not ready. What if I didn't have no money? Tell me, would you be there for me? I let the paranoia get the best of me. I let the paranoia get the best of me. Oh no, I mean I don't wanna leave, but I don't know. In the case of ourselves, maybe you can call me crazy, but I know not me and you don't flow. Sometimes I be thinking that we're just fine. Sometimes I be thinking that we don't rhyme. Cause don't nobody ever wanna waste no time. That's the reason why I think about it sometimes. Sometimes I be thinking to myself, say if I know drive Benz, would you still brag to your friends? These are the things that cross my mind, only sometimes. She said she wanted up, I said I ain't ready, but she don't know my paranoia is heavy. So I said, baby, go slow and steady. Don't wanna fall in love when I'm not ready. What if I didn't have no money? Tell me, would you be there for me? I let the paranoia get the best of me. I think I let the paranoia get the best of me. Oh.
Africa is a story. A living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent. African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. www.channelafrica.co.za and look for our podcast. Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
And we are back on. That was Paranoia by IOJ. Paranoia by IOJ, bringing us now to 24 minutes past 9 Central African time. Yes, honey. And we are going now to be chatting to my guest. I spoke a bit about her earlier on. She is a recipient of the 2025 Durban Tourism Business Awards. Now, these awards took place out in the ICC last week, on the 18th, actually. It was last week, Wednesday, and it was a beautiful, beautiful experience to really meet the men and women who play a big role when it comes to tourism. And one that stood out is actually on the other side of the line. We're going to be just speaking to her in a short while. Her name is Gugu Bengu. She is an entrepreneur and now an award recipient at the 2025 Durban Tourism Business Awards, and she won a category under the crafters category, and they were honoring different businesses. So they had over 161 entries for the awards, and there were different categories from exceptional achievement and to individuals that can actually go and expand their knowledge and sell the province overseas. But let's go to Gugu now. Gugu,
Yes, Puleng.
how are you, madam?
I'm so excited. I like to greet everyone at home and at studio.
Welcome to Channel Africa and welcome to Out and About. This just happened like a few minutes ago because I'm like, your story is one that is not just only inspirational. But we have our DIY moments, especially in this hour, where we say, things such as crafters, beadwork, sewing, hair, all kinds of things it's things that you find yourself interested in if you are that way inclined, and you start doing it as a child, or you're doing it at home for yourself. But these are things that can actually bring about big business for you. Tell me about your love for beadwork and craft work. When did you start liking this?
You know what? The beadwork I started when I was so young. I started as a hobby. But fortunately, my grandmom used to do, the sewing, like the dress for my dolls. So the tray is started because after she sewed the dress, I took the dress and I put some bead, like a deck or some sort of.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. So the love of beads grew from the young age up until now, up until I formalized the business. Now it's called Gugu Mobile Boutique. And Gugu Mobile Boutique now it's a mother of Gugu Arts and Craft Academy, of which is accredited.
Oh, okay. So it's a mobile boutique. What kind of work do you guys do? Because, you got an award under Crafters, and I didn't want to just assume that that's all you do as a business just because you've submitted under that category and received the award last week. I didn't want to think, okay, your business just does beadwork, crafting, and stuff like that. What do you do specifically in that business?
Okay, to put it in a nutshell, it specializes in handcrafted, modernized African accessories. Mm-hmm. So, meaning, we allow a customer to come and say, hey, look, Google, I want to look good. I'm going to this event and I want to look good and I want to look like different, And we sit down and customize together with the customer. We give her that room to say, put whatever your input here. Then we can able to come up with something that you like that is going to be unique.
Yeah.
So we sit down with the customer and customize with her and do the beadwork in terms of even the drawing, designing, and everything up until the finished end product.
Yes.
So, yes, that thing to the customers make them look so stunning and so unique.
Yeah. Okay. So your journey for me is a perfect DIY success story. You saw your grandmother, sew at home, and then she used to sew dresses for your dolls as well. And then you started sewing. But you carried on, with you, for people that like to work with beads, being in this business, what did you learn that it's something that you can share now, that they don't have to maybe go through this journey for 10 years to discover it?
Let me put it like this, but people, they tend to have the tendency that beadwork is for grannies only. Gone are the old days. Now beadwork is it's something they can make money out of it.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that we not repeat one and the same thing. The bangle or the earring that we saw it like maybe 1980, no, change it, modernize it, put your input, do whatever that you can do so that you can come up with something that is very unique. People, they love it. They must go on with the love of place.
Yeah.
That's the reason now we got an academy to say, look, come to our academy so that we can teach you and learn. We're doing the skill development. Then we can share that skill development with you. And then we can able to come up with something that we can put the table, food on the table.
So you could start at home at your own pace, out of love, and then go and expand the skill by joining an academy such as yourself. Then you learn a lot. I hear that there's stories also behind the beads. There's cultural meanings and stories. Working with beads for as long as you have. What are interesting things that you can share, maybe that you also didn't know when you started?
People, they think most of the time, people, they think that beads is something that you can do sitting in your corner, and once you're done with the final product, you shove it under the bed and you don't have custom. Listen, I've traveled around the world through beads. I met people like celebrities, people, everybody, that they love it, they love our work. So we specialize in our work in a way that we're transferring skills, we're transferring our culture, even overseas, like globally, actually.
Yeah.
So, yes, actually, our work is known all over the world.
Mm-hmm. And where is your business based now? Where in Durban exactly is your business based?
We are based in number 5 Oliver Street in Durban. On social media, it's all on social media. It's called Gugu.
Yes.
Mobile Boutique. Gugu Mobile Boutique to all social media.
Yeah. So winning the award under the crafters category, what does that come with? Does it come with money, exposure? You know, when you walk away with an award at the Tourism Business Awards, what do you get?
Let's reverse a little bit.
Reverse.
Yeah, let's reverse a little bit before we got to that.
Yes.
To receive this award, it means my work in crafting has been recognized as outstanding and impactful in Durban tourism and creative industry as a whole. Now let's go back to what I've got.
Yeah. What did you get, girl?
I got money. I received a trophy.
Yes.
I received a certificate of recognition. So all in all, that can boost my business, especially to expand to the community. Because yes, we do work with the community, but now we're going to expand more to the community because we work especially with women, with people with disability, and youth also.
All right. And then, so what's also coming up in the year? You speak about traveling a lot through your business. What do you have in store for people that appreciate the work that you do? But also, you know, someone who even is so good at what they do that they get recognized in platforms like this. What can we, maybe, let me also include myself, look forward to?
Please look forward to Google. She's going to Australia this year. She's going to, it's an exhibition where we can able to showcase our work, especially our African work.
Yes.
People, they love our work in overseas, as I said before, and especially we do have EEDAP in July. There are people that they're going to wear some accessories that they bought it from Google Mobile Boutique. Those are the two things that I can, that I can mention at the moment. But other than that, go to my social media where you can able to see and what is expecting going forward.
But what are your handles on social media?
It's Gugu Mobile Boutique on social media, to all social media.
All right. Thank you, Gugu. I'm sure it's been a very big, a busy week since you've received the award, ne?
Of course, it's a very busy week. It's a Durban July that is coming. People, they want to look stunning. You remember, I said people, they want to look unique.
Yeah.
So most of us, we customize for people that will be so unique. And also there is another academic that we have that is accredited people that are registering to come to get their skill development because they want to, we're creating the jobs on the other side. Yes.
All right. Have a fantastic Saturday going forward. And once again, thank you for your time and chatting to us about this big, big moment in your journey as an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Looking forward to receive more comments on my social media.
Yes, I mean, go ahead, follow the girl. All right, Google.
Thank you.
All right. That's my guest. You gotta love her. She's vivacious. She's bigger than life. She wants to be on. So this morning I said, girl, wake up. We're going to talk about that award again. She's like, let's do it. I want people to talk about it on social media. So follow her. She's at Google Mobile Boutique. And support a business, like she said, back in the day, people thought working with beads is like, that's for our mama. But now you can be cool for school, like Gugu Bengu, who's the 2025 recipient of the Durban Tourism Business Awards, making our way to top of the hour, 10 o'clock, where Matapelo will come through with the 10 news. But on the other side, we have a health and wellness, food, hikes, nice, all the other cool things are just waiting for us. So you don't have a reason to leave. Stick around. If anything, do follow us on social media at Channel Africa #1. Myself, I am Puleng Molebatsi.
Embrace our young voices this month. Channel Africa, celebrating Youth Month.
Ginger me nicely, ojuri kujizo. Baba shekushiko. Ibadan we good with the primo. Tough times stand tall. Eyes red like we jogo. Puff pass for the pain, jala. Never really wanna know your interest. Money there for my mind, I'm in business.
During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about African solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much.
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole continent. I think if we took that resolution, I'm moving it as a resolution. And John Ambassador Mbongo said he's going to second me. During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about African solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much.
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole continent. I think if we took that resolution, I'm moving it as a resolution. And John Ambassador Mbongo said he's going to second me. During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about African solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much.
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business.
And she's on Out and About.
I don't know, you know, it's just missing something, you know? It just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same without.
They clap for us, waiting on my downfall. Ground floor up, that's elevator action. Michael Jackson, could it be as dangerous? Shit happens, armed with a paintbrush, hope you get the picture. Veins full of bad blood, so I put a sticker.
fast until we following in riches. Ha! Took it back to the kitchen, like I got with Taco ad-libs in my dictionary. Big dreams in me ever since I was a beginner. So you gotta use the big screen when you picture me. Ha! Guinea big deal. See the times rotate like a windmill. And I will never lose focus. Cry me a river, swag jump a ocean. Motherfucker came a long way. Ones and twos up, Ivy League all day. That's on my, it's been a long way. Marathon, I ran it at my own pace. How many rappers in the world right now? Ain't it any one of them do it like I? Never get enough, never get enough.
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion.
It's VICTORY, Victory Lap by the legendary Kenan Farbs. Music that will forever stand the test of time. Now that is true legacy, something that you just cannot deny. Before that, it was another legend with IDK, and it was Africa's very own Wizkid. I'm thinking that IDK stands for I don't know. Just taking a wild guess. Could be anything really, but maybe, just maybe. So we're going to be talking now to Umandisa, who is on standby. She's part of what's happening tonight at the Taste Before Travel, but she's a fashion designer who's going to be showcasing her creations from Amari Woman. Mandisa, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All is good. Let me just go back and say this is Mandisa Kamagwa Muntu. Did I pronounce it right? Pungu.
It's Mandisa Pungu. Yeah.
Like I was so ready for that one.
I know.
I knew I'm too prepared. I'm too over prepared. Thank you so much.
You're probably the first to actually say Mungu. Usually people say Punchu, and I'm just like,
that one I know it's wrong. I'm like, no, it can't be true. But then it could be. But it can't be. It can't be. No, can it?
It's somewhat. It could if you are imagining an 8 next to the C somehow.
Yes, that's the only way.
Yeah.
So Mandisa, you're also showcasing at the Taste Before Travel tonight, and let's talk a bit about Amari Woman, your creation, and you as a fashion designer. How do you best describe what you do with your creation as a businesswoman that really does just sets you apart from all the other fashion houses out there?
At its core, Amari Women is about healing. Amari Women was born in a very dark time in my personal life, when I just needed direction and affirmation, and I needed purpose. I felt very empty, and I felt like my life was just a continuous cycle of the same thing every single day. It was a very dark time in my life, man. I mean, there was a suicide attempt at some point because of that situation. And I was like, God, like, I need something, you know? And Amari Women was a pressing dream for so long that I allowed to stay buried for quite some time, because I felt I just would not be able to do it, because I didn't study fashion. I studied psychology. I graduated. My dad wanted me to get into fashion, and I was just like, nah, bro, I want to be a doctor. But eventually, years later, 2021, I bought a machine and I went onto YouTube and I just started learning. And that's when I can fully say I found my healing and my purpose. So Amari Woman ideally means... So Amari means possesses great strength. And the idea behind it is every single consultation is about reviving women and making them feel like the best versions of themselves, you know, not just from a clothing perspective, but from the consultations that I do. A lot of the women that I help out aren't women that I know, but we find ourselves in counseling sessions and crying and praying. Next thing you know, we're opening up about things that we ought to not be talking about. But ideally, Amari Women is about healing at its core, but from a face value perspective, it's an African-inspired brand that creates clothing that is print, loud, proud, very African-centered, but with a very modern twist. If you check a lot of my pieces, they're very dramatic, and you can wear them every day if you're bold enough, you know. But like, they're very dramatic, and out there, there's always an element of you look different kind of feel. But at the core of it, Amari Women is about healing.
I like the fact that you're saying they're like larger than life garments, but you can wear them if you are that bold. Because I was like, there are people that just dress up. They don't need to wait for any occasion. They will dress up. I mean, I remember, I mean, our grannies would wear the beautiful fur coats and the fur hats, and just to be inside, and you'd be like, where are you going? It's like, no, why should I go anywhere when I'm wearing my favorite coat? It's my coat. And my grandmother was very to be like, oh, it's my coat, I don't need permission to wear it. So I think it's about making someone feel good through your creations, if I understand you correctly.
And what's crazy is that the fact that you mentioned Bomme Baba Holo is that my grandmother actually inspired my love for African-inspired pieces. Because like, it is a trending fashion trend that you need to see and spot her from afar.
And
like
they
the way
looked
she used to tie her
amazing.
dog. Dude, and remember back then, situation was hard and
Nostalgia.
thick and heavy. You know what I mean? So she really inspired the brand quite a lot. And the fact that you mentioned it, because she was dramatic. Like, she was a very dramatic dresser. Her look was always very loud and huge. She made a statement in every single thing that she wore. So it's definitely Amari Woman at its core. But like I said, healing is what it's all about.
So what can we expect in terms of you showcasing? Are you also focusing specifically on East Africa?
Oh, absolutely, I am. So a lot of my are inspired. So right now, not for me personally, I'm not specifically going to be showcasing specific countries. I'm going to play around with print that you can definitely travel around with around those parts. But more than anything else, it's going to be more focused on the pink concept.
Okay.
So it's
Mandisa, hold that thought, darling. Hold that thought for me. I gotta pay the bills, but do not forget that thought. Hold it for me, okay?
Okay, sure, no problem.
The Midnight Snack. 12 to 3 a.m.
Interracial relationships. And now you are based in the States and you are married to a beautiful white woman, white lady.
I learned that, for us in our culture, we literally can speak our mind. I remember when we had started dating and whatnot, and, she picked up like a little bit of weight. And me, I was like, oh, wow, you must be happy in this relationship because look at you. You look great. You've been picking up some weight. And she got really, really offended. And it took I think it was about a couple of hours before I could realize that, because I could tell that she was off after that. And it took me a while to figure out like what it was. Until later when I was talking to her, I'm like, you're really, really off today. And then she expressed that, yeah, because you're telling me that I'm picking up some weight. And I'm like, in my culture, when you are gaining some weight, it means you're happy.
Yes.
So that's what I was trying to imply.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
And now it's just 8 minutes before top of the hour, 10 o'clock Central African time. It's Out and About with African original Barbie. Yes, the only one in the studio until 12 today. But talking about Barbie, we're moving that conversation slowly now to clothing. It's got, I think this one is got, it's proudly African, specifically focusing on East Africa for the Taste Before Travel experience taking place in Kailami. And I do have Mandisa Kamagwa Pungo. Got it, ne?
Well done, girl. Yeah.
I've been waiting. Okay. Ella, you were talking about print that is going to be a focal point for tonight. And you were talking about maybe your selection, choice, and inspiration.
So today it's all about pink and print. That's what I am doing. It's pink happiness all the way. I don't have a specific country that I'm definitely repping because I don't want to have limitations around which countries to specifically go to and wear this at, but it's just pink print today.
Oh, nice.
I'm focusing on that color. It's like you just said, Barbie inspired.
I'm just like,
say that, girl. You know what?
I read
I
your
feel
mind.
like for the alignment, they are like
telepathically.
Girl,
like if you send like right now, if you send Uber collect to my gate right there, I will rock that. But I mean, also the original Black Barbie. Like, there's no any other original Black Barbie. I can rock pink better than anyone. I say, take me up on it. I will prove it.
It would be so beautiful. So, I'd love to take you up on it.
Oh, darling, let's talk off air. Of course, why not? Are you also going to, or Amari woman specifically for ladies? Nothing for the gents.
So today I'm only showcasing ladies wear, but I do have Amari men as well. But Amari men is more minimalistic, Japanese inspired fashion. A lot of tailored wear. It's more on that tip. It's very quiet luxury because not a lot of men are open to wearing print. Not that it's a bad thing, but like a lot of men prefer the everyday kind of wear. Your box t-shirts, if you will, the shirts. Maybe you can style it up here and there. Normal slacks, So I don't really go too heavy on the men because men are very specific and they want to wear their stuff over and over and over again,
Unlike us, we are very picky. Once you wear your dress and you feel like, oh, there were too many pictures, you can't go anywhere near that dress, at least for like a year or two, you know what I mean? Because you're like, in one night you've worn that dress 5 times already. 5 different places already, just in one night.
And it's enough. And people have shot you. You also tap. So with them, it's different. So I need to constantly, with us ladies, I need to constantly reinvent something for us. But with men, it's very muted, very chilled. So I'm only showcasing women today because I know for a fact they would definitely love that for the East African concept.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting to us about what you're offering and introducing us to Amari Woman. Where can people find you on social media so they can have a look at all these flamboyant pieces that you so proudly and lovingly make?
So you can find me the brand on Instagram under Amari_women. And you can find it under my page as well, being on Instagram, Mandisa_Pung. I hope I said Amari_Pung. My gosh.
You can say it now. You still have a bit of time. Say it right.
Okay, for the Instagram page is Amari_women, and for me it's Mandisa_Pung. The way I'm so connected to the brand, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to about myself. That time, no, get the brand.
But you are the brand, darling. You are the brand.
True.
True.
Okay,
let us
absolutely.
release you. I'm sure you've got garments to sew, to cut, to chop, to tuck, to paint. I know you fashion designers and last minute creative thoughts. So let me release you now. All right, Mandisa.
Thank you so much.
Have a fantastic day. And that's it. That's it from my guest this morning. Who's going to also be showcasing tonight at the Taste Before Travel Experience. It's Mandisa Kamagwa Pungu from a married woman and a married man. All right, so that brings us to just 3 minutes before top of the hour, 10 o'clock Central African time. A break is definitely due right now. So let's take one.
Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
Greatness Republic. DJ Neptune, hit me.
Oroma, Cinderella from Puerto Rico. You carry go pay fine face like Abino. And as I see your waist, baby, I swear I say Ale, Aje, or more now. You must go on my girl, you sweet like gelato. Oh, and you know, see your face today, I feel like to see you tomorrow. And if you drop my gelato, oh, you gon' know. Baby, come my place tonight, no go do me, Ojoro, Isabella. Joma Pamina, I don't call Uber, but I be carry Okada. Mayania, no like Pahala. No one talk with her, but she won't Gucci designer. Isabella. Joma Pamina. She won't Gucci designer. Enter my motor, make I dance a willow. With your back way soft like pillow. Fire down like Ronaldinho. Angelina Ju, touch my body, Ogulugu. I dey your dog, Kuku. Angelina Ju. Girl, you sweet like gelato. Oh, and you know, see your face today, I feel like to see you tomorrow. And if you drop my gelato, oh, you gon' know.
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that you...
Greatness. DJ Neptune.
She won't Gucci designer.
Sounds of Neptune.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories this hour. DRC and Rwanda signed a ceasefire deal to end conflict, and Hungary's LGBT Pride March defies new ban in Budapest. Good morning. Foreign Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have agreed to a ceasefire in Congo's eastern region. The agreement brokered by the United States and Qatar is being seen as a first step towards ending the 30-year conflict. The DRC's Foreign Minister Therese Kayagwamba Wagner says the agreement with Rwanda proves the country was involved in the conflict.
It is not only a conflict with Congolese stakeholders, but it is also a conflict that goes beyond our borders with one of our neighboring countries. The agreement itself highlights precisely the issue, first of all, both parties to refrain from providing any support to armed groups, but also the second aspect that is critical is that the agreement highlights the fact that the CONOPS, the concept of operations, needs to be implemented, which foresees the withdrawal of Rwandan forces from Congolese territory.
And the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has approved an immediate disbursement of approximately $448.4 million to Tanzania under the Extended Credit Facility and Resilience and Sustainability Facility agreements. IMF says that Tanzania's economic conditions have continued to improve with robust growth and macro-financial stability. And the South African Alcohol Policy Alliance, SAPA, says it's concerned over underage drinking. Focusing on a Youth Month, the alliance hosted a media discussion around the dangers of alcohol in communities and the impact that alcohol distribution has on children. SAPA Secretary General Adelaila Marka-Derricks says the challenge of alcohol distribution to minors remains a major issue in communities where it is easily accessible.
I think that the key issue that we need to address in South Africa is that we have alcohol that is far too available for young people in communities where they live. And I know I often quote the Khayelitsha example, but it's probably the most stark for me. Is that we have licensed outlets, but that we have sometimes 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times the amount of licensed outlets in communities. And what that does, it normalizes alcohol. It makes it available for young people.
And the long-awaited South African Football Association SAFA Congress will take place in Sandton, north of Johannesburg today. It was postponed in May due to the association's financial difficulties. SAFA President Danny Jordan will once again face a motion to step aside. Jordan enjoys a huge support from SAFA's National Executive Committee and the majority of the association's 52 regions. The motion is proposed by 4 regions who seek to have Jordan temporarily removed due to his ongoing court case. Onto this now, Hungary's annual LGBT Pride March is due to go ahead later today in Budapest despite efforts by Viktor Orban's government to stop it. A new law which Orban has said targets today's march makes it an offence to hold events that depict or promote homosexuality to anyone under the age of 18. The BBC's Nick Torp has the details.
The controversy surrounding this year's Pride seems certain to swell the numbers of those attending into the tens of thousands. Many Hungarians and other Europeans have been flocking to Budapest to show their solidarity. The Liberal mayor of the city, Gergely Karácsony, says the police cannot ban a march taking place under the protective wing of his city council. But the Justice Minister, Bence Tujon, has threatened him with prison for daring to host the event.
And a recap of your top story, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have agreed to a ceasefire in eastern Congo, marking a key step in resolving a 30-year conflict. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2 711 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I am Matapera Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective. comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
I'm with my dogs, man, di jaga, para in a push, pass up for the hada. You don't wanna go to court for a cup of the daga. They shot the homie in a cup, need a mop for his mata.
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for... Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
All right, welcome to the second leg, the second stretch, the second offering of Out and About this morning with your girl, Puleng Molebatsi. We have really been cruising nicely. Liked the first hour. I enjoyed it. We kickstarted the first hour, the second hour, this one. It's not first. I don't want to go big. I'm happy where I am. See, happy here. And it's Njaka by Pretty Ugly, and bringing us to now this 10:12 Central African time. We're going to get into our health and wellness with a guest of mine. He's been traveling, so let's please give him some grace. He is actually in Brussels, so we'll try and get him on the line. Why? Because we have this conversation that we would like to unpack with you. And as the world push for health equity, Cape Town-based BioVac is stepping up to help close African vaccine manufacturing gap, and established back in 2003 as a public-private partnership with government. BioVac has grown from distributing vaccines to now developing them. So we're going to get my guest on the line, who is going to tell us about this journey. And they're also including a groundbreaking oral cholera vaccine. The company's latest venture involves producing a pneumococcal vaccine in collaboration with India's Biological E, and marking a major leap towards vaccine self-sufficiency on the continent. And we're going to be talking to Dr. Morena Mohwana, who is CEO of BioVac, about his ambitious project and its partnership with Gavi, and what it means to Africa's vaccine future. And this is for our health and wellness conversation. And he was traveling yesterday, and he has landed safely. So we thought, time differences as well, they might be a thing. Remember, for you, we are streaming our content live on YouTube. So if you want to see what is happening in the studio, you don't have to wait anymore for someone to post a video of themselves or someone to share anything. You can catch it live right now, actually. All you have to do is go to our YouTube channel at Channel Africa and find and experience all that magic. And alternatively, you can also stream us live at www.channelafrica.co.za. That's where you can also catch what's happening in studio while Dr. Morena is preparing. And for his interview, we are going to... Okay, looks like he's good to go. Doctor?
Hello.
Hi. You look very fresh for someone who was just traveling.
That's because at least I had a good night's sleep when I landed late last night.
Okay, what's the time differences? What's your time zone? What's the time there?
No, so I'm back in Cape Town. So I'm back on home soil.
Yeah, so you're coming to SA?
Yes, I was traveling back from Brussels where we did the announcement. Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, you were going there. Khanti, you're making your way back in SA. Okay, welcome back to South Africa, back to the cold and the rains in Cape Town.
Yes, it's quite cold and wet.
Yeah. Okay, but this is a good conversation, something positive that your company has done. The work that you have done with BioVac. I want to start with some of the background. What was the original vision for BioVac when it was established back in 2003, and how that vision has evolved?
Yeah, thanks very much for the question. I think, when we talk about vaccine manufacturing today, it's a language that is now being more accepted and understood. But back in the late 90s, when the democratic government came into power, post 1994, they looked at all the state assets that were owned, and they found that the vaccine manufacturing industry and what the state owned at the time were in serious decline, and some of them were shutting. There were actually 3 manufacturing facilities in the country, but all of them ceased production.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1999, there was a cabinet decision to revive vaccine manufacture, but to not do it in a way like having a state-owned company, but rather to have private players come in and revive vaccine manufacturing. So South Africa was, BioVac was born essentially out of a vision of government to try and revive vaccine manufacture, but not for it to be a state-owned, but rather to be private sector-led, with government having some interest. So that was how we were born in 2003.
Okay. And now BioVac has evolved from distributing vaccines and now to full vaccine development. So, Doctor, what are the major milestones that has enabled this kind of project to be now having to have been fully effective?
Yeah. So I think, just to firstly describe that vaccine manufacture is very complex. It is, whilst we are part of the pharmaceutical industry, but it is one of the most complex within the vaccine manufacturing industry because within the pharmaceutical industry, rather. And that's because when you're dealing with biologicals, that's what we call vaccines. Biologicals, you're essentially dealing with bacteria or dealing with viruses. So the regulation that goes with it is very stringent. If you have to do clinical trials, those are very scrutinized by the regulators. So it's a very tough industry. So how we have evolved, it's taken us over 20 years to develop this end-to-end capability, but it was not easy at all. We just started with distribution. We then went on to raise funding for our manufacturing facilities. And then, most importantly, we kept teams and made sure that we grow and nurture South African skills to be going into this very complex biotechnology world. And at the time, it was just BioVac only at the time doing what it's needed to do. So it's been an enjoyable road, but it has been long and tough in terms of building this capability.
I can only imagine, Doctor. And now you are also working, or rather developing an oral cholera vaccine from scratch. So I just want to know what the process entails and how significant is this for the region?
Absolutely. That's certainly one of our flagship projects. We're so proud of it. And we're proud of it for a few reasons, if I can just describe them. So South Africa hasn't developed a vaccine, a homegrown vaccine, probably more than 50 years now. It developed vaccines back in the 60s and the 50s, but nothing has happened ever since. So the oral cholera vaccine will be, the first after many, many years to be developed locally. So I think it's a historic milestone for the country. Secondly, by developing it locally means that the skills that we do is just not only manufacturing, but we're developing vaccine skills, taking it from a small scale to a large scale. That's a very, very complex process. And we are now going to be testing it into clinical trials in South Africa by the end of this year. Now, that will also be a first because a South African company hasn't taken a product into clinical trials for more than 50 years. And so, again, it's going to be an historic milestone. The last one maybe that I can mention is that whilst maybe in South Africa, cholera is not a big topic from a disease burden perspective, but the cholera disease is still ravaging the continent. We have many, many countries that are still plagued by cholera. The outbreaks, Angola reported a huge outbreak earlier this year. DRC, essentially, it's quite endemic. Even the north part of our country, of our continent also have it. But beyond the continent, Haiti is a problem in terms of cholera. Pakistan, Bangladesh. So there is so much of this vaccine. And as we sit today, there's only one vaccine manufacturer based in South Korea. So there's an opportunity for us to plug the gap from a manufacturing perspective, but also make sure that we end up being an independent player which will make South Africa proud.
All right, Doctor, we're going to take a bit of a break. Please hang on for me. It's my guest, Dr. Mogoana, this morning on Out and About, talking about that breakthrough that BioVac has recently launched from being distributors of vaccines to making vaccines themselves.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África, com Remo Samo e João Yabalá.
O surto da cólera em Angola tem causado grande preocupação, afetando já mais de metade das províncias do país. Simultaneamente, a Agência dos Estados Unidos para o Desenvolvimento Internacional, USAID, um dos maiores doadores mundiais de assistência humanitária, decidiu não priorizar os países com maior incidência de malária. Para discutirmos as causas do alastramento da cólera em Angola e os impactos dessa decisão da USAID, convidamos o Dr. Jeremias Agostinho, médico e mestre em saúde pública, para partilhar a sua visão sobre o tema.
A doença, nesse momento, representa o maior risco de saúde pública que nós temos. Nos últimos anos, a nossa preocupação esteve sempre centrado com os casos de malária, os casos de tuberculose e também de infecção por VIH-Sida. A forma como, em pouco menos de 2 meses, os casos de cólera vêm aumentando, acaba por representar, nessa altura, um dos maiores desafios que o país tem. É expectável que, nesta fase, o número de casos venha a aumentar.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.
Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
And it's 10:23 Central African Time. We're talking to my guest this morning on our health and wellness segment, and this one is definitely Out and About on its second leg this morning on Channel Africa, the African Perspective. We are now talking to Dr. Morena Mogoana, who is CEO of BioVac, about the ambitious project that they have in partnership with Gavi and what it means for Africa's vaccine future. Doctor, so I just have one last question for you, and I want to look at the biggest challenges that are facing vaccine manufacturing in the continent right now, and how is BioVac working towards overcoming them?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think it's important to recognize that and I think COVID reminded many of the world people that were not aware that the continent lacks vaccine manufacturing capability. And that was exposed during COVID because many manufacturers on the continent couldn't produce, and there are few and far between to cater, for over 1 billion population. So I think firstly to say that there's a scarcity of vaccine manufacturing. Since COVID, there's been lots of initiatives driven by Africa CDC, by our AU heads of states, who have really pushed and made aware the global community that we need to get support and we need more vaccine manufacturing. Fortunately, a few years later, a few players have come to the party. So big donors have come to the party, and if I can mention maybe the European Union and what is called Team Europe have gathered funds to assist vaccine manufacturers. The development finance institutions have also come through. But most importantly is that the purchasers of vaccines have also come to the party. So if I can mention Gavi and UNICEF. So maybe what your listeners and viewers may not be aware is that a large part of the continent does not buy vaccines themselves. So a lot of the countries on the continent actually depend on donors and others to supply vaccines. So you therefore have to engage with those donors and those purchasers in order to make sure that they buy from Africa. So there has been an initiative by Gavi that was launched, where they're giving an incentive to African manufacturers to say, if you come to the party, if you have the right products with the right quality, we are likely to buy from your African manufacturers. So this has taken a while, but it's starting to get better.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting to us this morning, Doctor, and congratulations once again on this milestone.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
All right. right, that's my guest this morning. And it is my guest this morning. We're talking about that big milestone from BioVac, going from manufacturing vaccines to making their own. And it's Dr. Morena Mokgwana, who is the CEO of BioVac, bringing us to this particular moment. Now we move on to healthy eating, from being fully vaccinated to healthy eating. It is 10:28 Central African time, and me, I am with you until 12 midday today.
Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
Ulisengwa utipari pande robi rama. 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 Kanyili gambe ninego denga zango. Kanyili gambe ninego denga zango. Oh, I know. Dengatzango, kanyili gambe, ninego dengatzango, oh, I know. Kani mahungu nyali halazo, gumiza kupasiansia, mahungu nyali halazo, gumiza kupasiansia, nago hamba, kwanu nyago hamba guono, nyamba hamba, kwanu nyago nunga. Mahungu nyali halazo, guviza kupasiansia. Kani mahungu nyali halazo, guviza kupasiansia.
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across.
The track is quite self-explanatory, Udisangwa, and it's by Kappa Del Shi, bringing us now to food conversation. And it's also very good that we are bearing in mind the fact that, every season comes with its own challenges, and it will also have a toll on us. It is now 10:31 Central African time, so now we're going to be getting into healthy eating made convenient with technology. So right now, we all know that, we may have good intentions when it comes to keeping tabs on what we eat, how we eat, and, just being cautious about also what goes into our bodies. Mara, life is life. There's so many demands that each one of us are facing, work, the personal, and just things to just pop up. So there's a lot going on. And eating has just gotten a lot easier thanks to Nestle South Africa. The new digital platform Goodness, it is designed to be a practical kitchen companion. Goodness brings together recipes, meal planning tools, nutrition advice, and more, all in one smart, user-friendly platform. And at the heart of it, it is the mission to make mealtime more nutritious, stress-free, and joyful for South African families. I'm going to be talking now to the Goodness spokesperson, and Marie de Beer, who is a nutrition, health, and wellness practitioner. And good morning.
Good morning. Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Looking forward to this.
Okay, so I want to know exactly how this is different from all the other apps. I'm sure people have got apps where it's about meal planning, and you can just go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, okay, this is how much I weigh now, and this is my index BMI. Yes. What do you think? And then just ChatGPT will give you like a whole list of what you should be mindful of. Tell us about this particular platform.
Good. Well, so Nestle Goodness, and I just have to explain that the Goodness is with one S, and it's www.nestlegoodness.com/ESAR. But it's a platform. It's not an app. A digital platform where consumers can actually begin to plan their own meals. But what makes it very different is that it will tell you how healthy that meal is. So we talk about my menu IQ, and within that you have my menu plan. So if you begin to put all the dishes together, Goodness will tell you you need something more, or maybe you need to take something away because the energy might be too much or too little. The other benefit of this platform is that you can cook for one person or for 20. It doesn't matter. So you just tell the program you want to cook for 4 people, if you're 4 people in the family, or 5, doesn't matter, and then it will actually calculate for you what you need. So it's very different from, I think, what you will find on ChatGPT or any other recipe website, in that it's really there to also educate consumers on good eating. The other nice thing about this particular platform is that it's okay to have dessert from time to time. So it's not saying that you cannot have anything sweet or anything really very nice. If there's a festivity of some sort, someone's birthday or some celebration, you can build that into this platform and into the menu plan.
Yeah, yes. Which is quite cool then, because then, when one thinks that, you're like, oh, there goes bland, there goes sacrifice, there goes, and it's all good because ultimately your body gets used to all of that. But it's the start that is always a challenge. Okay, so you can just tell it, these are the ingredients, this is what I'm making, I want to make this, and then they can give you like just how much calories and
everything. So what's also interesting with this app, you can ask it to give you recipes, or you can tell them, I've got in the house today only carrots and maybe some maize meal, and some flour and oil or whatever it is that you have in the house, and then it will actually pull from what you've got in the house. It can then pull recipes for you that you can make. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that the recipes are easy to make. We know that for most people, and not just in South Africa, I think everywhere in Africa where people are working, it's difficult at night to come home and to think, yo, what do I cook now? And very often that leads to us eating fast foods or quick foods that are often very high in energy but very low in nutrients. And we find that people just globally are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So with this platform, what it's doing, it's helping the people who's cooking to actually plan. And with that planning, it means that we can bring in fruits and vegetables into the diet, which is otherwise lacking quite a bit in most people's households.
You know, like the intention is to have fruits and vegetables ready, but when you're always on the go and you don't get around to your fruits and vegetables, and then they are off, now you must throw them away, and then now you are just lazy to go restock. Oh man, are there like nutrients in these canned ones? I've always wondered.
They are there. So whether it's frozen or whether it's in a canned form, they are still there. And I think we sometimes misunderstand it, but if you think about frozen veggies, are the freshest veggies that the manufacturers will get, and they freeze them immediately. It's called, I think, flash freezing, but it's frozen very quickly to actually maintain those nutrients. And the same with canning. It's, you know, you preserve the vegetables in that way. But just on our website, we also have tips and tools for consumers when they do have veggies in the house and they're worried that it may go off. We give them ideas on how to preserve that. So you can also freeze it yourself. You don't have to buy the frozen version. If on a Saturday or a Sunday you have some time and you have a lot of beans and carrots, you can actually prepare it all, have it frozen, and then it's very easy to actually then use that, so you don't have to worry about the foods going off, but also you have then actually good nutrition available quickly.
That's good to know that there's still the very same nutrients that you can get when you just peel a carrot now and make it. You still have it if you freeze it for like a few days.
Yes, absolutely.
I've always wondered, even because when you think about, you buy canned fruits because just like canned vegetables rather, you want them to last, but you don't. I didn't know. I was like, but I wonder if, you know. Oh, okay. So it's good to know. But how can people then become part of the Goodness platform?
Oh, it's very easy. They need to go to our website, which is www.nestlegoodness with one S .com/ESAR. ESAR stands for East and Southern Africa Region, but that's where they will find us. And just to look out then for the ESAR bit, because there are a few other Goodness websites across the globe. We were the third one to go live. So you may just end up in the Philippines or in the USA. So we really want you to be in Africa and in South Africa. So just look for the ESAR bit when you actually type it in. But you can also find it on Facebook as well as Instagram and TikTok. We kind of everywhere.
And just lastly, delicious meals can you can maybe, let's say you have like a nice dinner that you're making for friends, because I think when you are alone you just hoy and eat, you're good. You know, plus your body just likes what it likes. But the point I'm trying to drive at this morning is you can have delicious, affordable and healthy meals that also don't take long, you know.
Correct. And that's really what we're trying to do, because most people don't have a lot of time for cooking. And that's why these recipes, we really try to make it as easy as possible and as quick as possible. And very often, and what we're trying to do is that you cook once, but you eat maybe twice or thrice. So, and that's what we're trying to do, is to make it easier for people to really just eat healthy and good. Something else just to remember around this whole Goodness platform is we've got some recipe books in there that you can just download easy, it's free of charge. Everything is free of charge, by the way, on the website. But you can also create your own recipe book. So if you like certain dishes, or you have certain dishes, you can actually put it in there, and it becomes your own recipe book that you can then use. So I think that's also quite fortunate that you could then keep everything together, and you don't have to go and look for where's that recipe that I used the other day.
Okay. Thank you so much. What are the hashtags?
It is hashtag Nestle. Now she's asking me.
I think I have them here. I'm like thinking, oh no, I don't have the hashtags. Let me go up a bit. It's been a while since we went to the cookout, which was also just as amazing. I'll share the hashtags as well, because I see my phone is also just
I can give them.
Oh, nice.
It is hashtag Nestle Goodness, and the other one is hashtag Goodness Knows, and all of the goodness is with one S.
Yeah, I remember the one, the hashtag Goodness Knows. I know that one. All right, thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, man, I think it's one to check out, especially for people that don't have time and want to make sure that the whole house it's healthy. And especially for people that make their kiddies lunch boxes as well. You can be spontaneous, you can be colorful, you can have different options. Just go ahead and enjoy. Thank you so much to my guest this morning, Annie Marie de Bier.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
There is fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be on the run. Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is running. I wake up in the morning, tell you what I see on my TV screen. I see the blood of an
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent. African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices. English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent. African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time. Powerful stories and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepu Kholikweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m., 5 till 6. We put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Monteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Peruvinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Sochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look at Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Kumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole country.
They ask me if we took that want to know, and things they go, country you don't put it, you don't go, but you see, no easy, no more, not to you, but uncle, you know the flow, if you vex you, call me you, carry you go, and never tell you me, 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 taking them off faster, taking king base, taking them off faster. I'm what you do. When we talk about solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a thing that's taking them off faster. What exact actions do we have to do? Taking them off faster. Even as NGOs,
important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
Them
Your weekday afternoons have been upgraded by the upside with me, Tebohole Kuleni, and my partner in crime, Nompumelelo Ngubeni.
And if you want to find out all things luxury, fashion, travel, and art and culture, this is exactly the place to be.
If it's hip, if it's happening, we are talking about it. We talk about what's now, what's next, and most importantly, what matters most on the African continent and the diaspora.
Do you know what time it is? Catch us every weekday on Channel Africa from 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time.
Yeah, that's us every weekday afternoon. Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
All right, so we are going to get into this particular conversation, a very informative, and we're going to be talking about the film it's a documentary called Legacy of Hope, and I do have my guest on the line is Grant Hamse, who's operations manager for Moja Multimedia. Now, this documentary is been called a call to remember and reactivate solidarity. Grant is going to tell us about it. It's actually scheduled to air in Cape Town next week. Good morning, Grant.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for chatting to us here on Channel Africa.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Let's talk about this documentary. I mean, it's, as I did earlier on, allude to the fact that it is a call to remember and reactivate solidarity. And you have really big names in this particular documentary, especially people. If I can say, if I have to title, I'd say they are historians who carry so much knowledge about how our liberation has come to be. Please tell us about the documentary Legacy of Hope.
Okay, so the Legacy of Hope was inspired by former Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperations, Mr. Marius Fransman. It birthed in December last year, and we started rolling during the January 8th celebrations of the ANC. So this documentary aims to highlight the critical support provided to South Africa's freedom forces during the apartheid era by nations like Russia, Cuba, and China, right? It is vital to remember the global cooperation that actually helped birth the democratic South Africa. In today's world, facing all these new uncertainties, the film and the documentary stresses the importance of international partnerships rooted in historical understanding, mutual respect, and a dedication to human rights, justice, and fair socio-economic principles. This particular episode reminds us of the power of global unity, and it urges the revival of such alliances to tackle the current global issues that we are facing as a world today.
Who are some of the names that are featured in this documentary?
Okay, so we have former State Security Minister Ronnie Kasrils. We have MK veteran Bonakela Bobopemba in there. We have Matthew Parks, Kusatu parliamentary advisor. We have Chief Garu Zenzile Khoisan. We have, like I said, former Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperations, Marius Fransman. We have former MP Hilda Ndure in there. We have Uncle James April in there. We have the CEO of the Castle of Good Hope, Calvin Gilfillan, in there. We have active.
Grant?
It's very, yes.
Oh, okay. You had broken off for a bit there. Now your sound doesn't sound very good. Grant?
Yes, I can hear you.
You sound fine now.
Yes. Sorry about that. I was, I just pulled over.
Oh, okay. You were driving.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I just want to, yeah.
We've got some prominent figures in this particular episode. It is a 6 to 24 series episode. Episode series, but currently we're sitting on about 40 hours of footage. So we are busy preparing for the second episode.
Yeah, 40 hours is a lot.
Yes.
That's quite a lot. So, I mean, Grant, I just want to have a look at how, with regards to exploring not just political alliances, but also deeply human stories of sacrifice and resistance. What emotions or sub-themes that we will be able to capture or rather grasp as we watch this particular episode that we are talking about today?
This one particular.
Mm.
It highlights the youth's response to a call for ungovernable South Africa, right? Through Umkhonto we see where the acts of resistance. But it's not just about what happened in history. If we look at South Africa, our liberation brought freedom, but it also brought expectation. And that is the paradox that where we are. In a just world, if it was in a perfect world, everyone would be equal, right? But there are so many of us, of the South Africans, that are still not partaking in the wealth of the country. The socio-economic injustice is so great that it's been 30 years since democracy, and yet our people are still suffering. So it is about how do we make the foreign familiar? Because I bet you 10 to 1, if you ask a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old now, what happened at the Battle of Cuito-Cuanavale, they won't be able to tell you. Because this is not the stuff that we are learning in history. We need to rewrite the history books of South Africa that they are teaching our children. If I ask a 17-year-old now what happened at the Battle of Salt River, they won't be able to tell me. But it's those type of things that we are highlighting. It is about the liberation of a people. It is acknowledging what happened. It is accepting the past and building towards a better future.
All right, Grant, time on my side doesn't look very good. I have to go to the news. Where can people catch these episodes? And are they all out at once, or will catch them as you release them?
No, you will catch them as we release them. The Legacy of Hope, Freedom Through Solidarity is currently published on YouTube on the Legacy of Hope SA. That is the YouTube handle. You'll find it there. And currently we are sitting on over 20,000 views.
All right. And then there is a launch happening. Is it today or next week?
No, the screening was actually on Thursday.
You guys had the screening.
We screened it. Yes, we screened it on the 70th anniversary of the actual Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter was incorporated on 26th of June 1955.
Yes.
And we actually released this documentary on the 70th anniversary.
All right. Okay, Grant. Thank you so much for chatting to us on Out and About. Unfortunately, I also have to go to the news now.
Thanks, eh?
All right, it's 11 o'clock Central African time. We are going now straight to the 11 o'clock news with Matapelo Mahabi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Puleng. Top stories this hour. Cameroon minister resigns to challenge Biya in presidential elections, and Southern Europe braces for heat wave. Good morning. A long-time ally of Cameroon's president has quit the government to run for president in October elections. Issa Chiroma Bakary, who served as spokesperson for President Paul Biya's government from 2009 to 2018, says he had resigned as employment minister in response to what he described as a widespread calls for change. The move is said to be a defection that could reshape the West African nation's politics after more than 4 decades of Biya's rule. And the foreign minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have agreed to a ceasefire in Congo's eastern region. The agreement, brokered by the United States and Qatar, is being seen as a first step towards ending the 30-year conflict. The DRC's foreign minister, Therese Kayakwamba Wagner, says that the agreement with Rwanda proves the country was involved in the conflict.
It is not only a conflict with Congolese stakeholders, but it is also a conflict that goes beyond our borders with one of our neighboring countries. The agreement itself highlights precisely the issue, first of all, both parties to refrain from providing any support to armed groups, but also the second aspect that is critical is that the agreement highlights the fact that the CONOPS, the concept of operations, needs to be implemented, which foresees the withdrawal of Rwandan forces from Congolese territory.
And the Southern African Alcohol Policy Alliance, SAPA, says it is concerned over underage drinking. Focusing on Youth Month, the alliance hosted a media discussion around the dangers of alcohol in communities and the impact that alcohol distribution has on children. SAPA Secretary General Adelaila Marka-Diderix says the challenge of alcohol distribution to minors remains a major issue in communities where it is easily accessible.
I think that the key issue that we need to address in South Africa is that we have alcohol that is far too available for young people in communities where they live. And I know I often quote the Khayelitsha example, but it's probably the most stark for me, is that we have licensed outlets, but that we have sometimes 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times the amount of licensed outlets in communities. And what that does, it normalizes alcohol, it makes it available for young people.
And the long-awaited South African Football Association SAFA Congress will take place in Sandton, north of Johannesburg today. It was postponed in May due to the association's financial difficulties. SAFA's president Danny Jordan will once again face a motion to step aside. Jordan enjoys a huge support from SAFA's National Executive Committee and the majority of the association's 52 regions. The motion is proposed by 4 regions who seek to have Jordan temporarily removed due to his ongoing court case. And Spain and other countries in southern Europe are bracing for a heat wave this weekend. Health and wildfires warning are in place, citing including Paris and cities including Paris and Rome over the weekend and into next week. As the continent endures extreme temperatures, 5 villages south of Athens were evacuated on Thursday after a large fire fanned by strong winds raged near the capital. The BBC's Guy Hedgecoe has the details.
In the southern Spanish city of Seville, temperatures could reach the low 40s Celsius as the first heat wave of the year sweeps across much of the country. Hot air from North Africa is contributing to the conditions, and the Spanish Weather Agency expects this to be the hottest June on record. Many areas of Europe are expecting to see temperatures between 5 and 10 degrees higher than normal. Cities across Italy are on red alert, and many areas of France are expecting temperatures to climb into the high 30s Celsius. In Greece, hot, dry conditions have already fueled wildfires in recent days, causing some people to be evacuated from their homes.
A recap of your top story. A long-time ally of Cameroon's President Paul Biya, Issa Chiroma, has resigned as employment minister to run in October's elections, citing public calls for change. His move could shake up the Cameroon's politics after 40 years of Biya's rule. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I am Matabala Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective. Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we've got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about Africa solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much for
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole continent. I think if we took that resolution, I'm moving it as a resolution. And John Ambassador Mbongwe said he's going to second me. During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we've got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about Africa solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much for
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole continent. I think if we took that resolution, I'm moving it as a resolution. And John Ambassador Mbongwe said he's going to second me. During this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we've got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about Africa solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement. What exact actions do we have to do as private sector, as government, even as NGOs? So thank you so much for
It is important and critical that when government puts together policies and frameworks on business, that it involves business itself. Business policies cannot be drafted and be expected to be implemented by business without business not having been involved.
And because of that, we, the Tanzanian business community, decided that we are going to rally the whole continent. I think if we took that resolution, I'm moving it as a resolution. And John, Ambassador Mpongwe said he's going to second me during this Africa Month. And we paid attention to the fact that we've got a very good opportunity to place on the global agenda various matters of concern to us because of this situation with regard to the G20.
President Becky, you have helped us move from the general to the specific. When we talk about African solutions for African problems, what does that mean? It has become a saying that we are saying daily. Everyone is saying this statement.
It's Maluminator. Now, I wish I had thought of that name first before he thought about it. It's the artist behind the song called Ingani Yabantu, and is also featuring Russell Zuma in that track, bringing us to 12 minutes past 10. Past 11. Past 11 Central African time. Okay. What? No. No, it's definitely 11 o'clock and I can feel it. Okay, so the book is called In Pursuit of Greatness, and it's about unleashing the greatness that is in you. And I've got the author with me right now on our vibe check today. We've got my guest Hulisani Siobo, who is going to Hulisani.
Yes.
Your name is Msiani.
Siobo Mshian. My name is Hulisani,
Yeah.
and my surname is Siobo Mshian.
What is Siobo doing here? Siobo. What is this? Is this your name?
This. Yes,
Hulisani is your name, but
yes,
Siobo.
It's
What
my
is that?
maiden surname.
Oh, because I'm like, wait a minute. You told me you are Msiani and then there's Siobo here. So which one do you go with now?
I'm going to go with Siobo because, wow.
I'm confused. You got me ding dong.
I'm so sorry about that.
Thinking about Msiani and Siobo. I'm like, no. Okay, dear. So let's get into it. You are she is a motivational speaker. She's an author now. She is an women empowerment leader, you know. Yes. And she's got events that are happening. One in August, it's called Praying Women Hike, where all the ladies can come together just to meet each other, because I'm sure you guys also pray virtually. Now you get to pray in person. Yes. And there'll be another one on the 23rd of August, or the month of August. Yes. It's in Durban. All right. And so you are here to tell us about the hikes, but before we get there, let's talk about In Pursuit of Greatness.
Yes.
I love this outlook, by the way. Tell me a bit about the book.
Okay. The In Pursuit of Greatness, it's a blueprint for women who are struggling with trauma, past traumas, depression, rejection, low self-esteem. So I wrote this book because I wanted to share my story on how I overcame the traumas of divorce, traumas of being rejected by my father, my own blood father, traumas of unemployment as a woman, and having to start from scratch. So I share more about self-love, building your faith in God, and rising and unleashing the greatness that is within you, amidst all the challenges that we face as women.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so what if I'm not a praying woman, Batum, and I just want to walk with
You just
the
want to
ladies?
walk. Okay, it's
Not that I'm not a praying woman, just say.
I know. I've come across many different ladies, many different women from different backgrounds. So we are a non-denominational organization, and we do not discriminate. So everybody is welcome. Yes, we have had people from LGBTQI coming through, and we have accepted them.
It's just the name sounds so...
I know.
Like you specific to people.
Exactly. No. It's not specific to people. It's because I'm a faith-based woman.
Yes.
But, God accepts everybody. God is God for everyone.
Yeah.
And we love each and every person as they are. And we don't discriminate. So anybody can come through because we are more based on mental health and wellness and also fitness as well. So it's a package. It's like all in one. So you're doing all in one with your soul, your body, your emotions. So we are a non-denominational movement.
So when did you start this movement?
Okay, this movement started in 2018. Yeah, we started in Pretoria. It was like a PJ party, amongst my friends. And then the hunger grew. The hunger grew for empowering women. Then we went to picnics. And then I fell in love with hiking because I felt we also need to step out, out of our comfort zone. It was more of like a sign to go out and step out of your trauma, because sometimes we go through things in closed doors. So going out there and connecting with nature was the way to go for me. And then I started, gathering women, started a Facebook page, and people were like, no, we want more, and
so that's how it started.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, our first hike, we were like 5 women, and to me I was like, God, is this what you want me to do? And more women came, and after the hike, people would come to say, you know what, this really helped us. We feel healed. We feel our baggage is removed, and we feel we are ready to face the world, and I felt, okay, it is making a difference. It looks as if there's no difference, but it does make a difference. And now we are going across South Africa. We're going to Cape Town. We're going to Durban and Pretoria. And yes, we are hoping that we can go all over South Africa, and gather women, because we need to get fit physically. We need to get fit emotionally. And we also need to get fit spiritually, so that we can be productive everywhere that we go. Yes.
Okay. So what then happens on this hike? Because you're speaking about people saying, my baggage feels like it has been lifted. Do you hike, stop and talk, or do you talk and hike? What's happening there?
Okay. So once we arrive, we have themed hikes. Actually, our last hike, it was mental health. So we had a psychologist on site, and we arrive, we do like a devotional, and you'd find people saying, no, we don't want to pray. We just want to come, hike, and network and have breakfast, And so we do allow that because, people are dealing with a lot and people just don't want to, but we welcome everybody. So when we get there, we start by praying, having a devotional. Then we start the hike. And then after the hike, we come and sit down, we pray. And then the psychologist talks with us for the topic of the day, and we interact with the psychologist. We invite different speakers in different hikes.
Okay.
So
Yes. Hold on for me. We're going to go to a break, and I am chilling with Hulisani Siobo in studio. She's an author, motivational speaker, a wellness champion, if I may put it like that.
Africa in song. Koligege.
This song has a line that I love so much in the isiXhosa language. It says, Andinayo nesentem daga. So I went down to the Eastern Cape. So I went to Yanga and said, Yanga, tell me here, what does Andinayo nesentem daga mean?
If I say andinayo nesentem daga, it means that I do not have any money on me. I do not have money to give to you.
Interesting, because in Chivenda, I would just say, "Tinana peni, ndo charumwe." I wonder if you have that expression in your home language when you want to say you're broke, but in a very creative way. What do you say? I'd like to hear from you.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege. Out and About comes to you every Saturday, 9 till 12 noon, Central African Time.
Chanduni sente mdaka sana andina nix nikotekile. Okay, back to Out and About now. And Hulisani Siobo is here with me with her beautiful book. Look how cute this is, you guys. In Pursuit of Greatness Unleashed. Don't mind my nails. Just noticed now. I've had a week and a half. I've just noticed now. I'm sure people are like, oh, this lady, we are papa, but her nails like nail polish is not. Hey, you will leave me. Focus on the book, okay? In Pursuit of Greatness, Unleash the Greatness in You, and it's by Hulisani. I like it. And I like the fact that, people make books so thick, and I'm like, oh, I've got ADHD. Make it smaller so I can get in and out. At least yours is in and out.
In and out.
When you buy me a book, friends, make it in and out. Stop with your
exactly.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. Where can people do people pay for these, and where do they sign up?
Okay, we have put our tickets on web tickets.
Yeah.
Yes. If you just go on web tickets under Faith Events, you just Google Praying Women, or you follow our Facebook page, the Praying Women SA. You can get the link to web tickets, or you can just go to Pick and Pay and get your tickets. The tickets are starting from as little as 50 rands, general. It's just for the entrance, just for the entrance. And we're also going to have specialists who are going to be teaching us self-defense courses, we are faced with GBV, so we need to be able to stand up and defend ourselves. So we have professionals that are coming through to help us,
okay,
with the classes.
All right, thank you so much for coming through. And what else are you working on? Because I know you're always a Women on the Mission. We've spoken before with you, and now you are coming with books and hikes. And as we are walking down, the lady says, "I remember you." I'm just like, hey, Kanti, how busy is this lady?
Yeah, I'm very busy. Okay, now I've launched the foundation, Hulisani Foundation, because we were just a movement. Now I'm focusing on Hulisani Foundation. We are gathering youth, teen boys, just to have leadership talks with them. And we also have journals for teen boys. We know journals to be for girls, but now we will be having journals for teen boys, just to channel their minds. It's called Growth Mindset Journal. Yes, so we'll be having that very soon. I think next week, and we'll be hosting these workshops and making sure that our young boys are channeled to become men. Yes.
All right, Madam. You see, I knew you were up to something because you're always up to something. All right, thank you so much for making a visit. And it's just that Pretoria and Durban are too far. Otherwise, I'd join you on a hike.
Yes.
I know myself. You know what? I'm not going to say I will come to PTA. For me, convenience, I need to...
Yes, I know you're a busy woman. You were in Durban?
I was in Durban just last week. That's why I'm like, guys, please let me breathe with my nails. Hey, being a lady, I've got my hair now. Lash,
everything.
Pause it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, Puleng.
Okay, I'm going to take a break, and then when you come back, this one is for the books, y'all. I tell you now, it's for the books, y'all. My guest is a bird whisperer. So as I am chatting to Lisani now, I'm like, are we gonna have a conversation with one of the birds? So for people that are streaming us on our www.thechannelafrica.co.za, you'll catch that. Also, if you're streaming us also on YouTube, you're also gonna catch that. So it's gonna be so cute. I'm excited about it. Meeting birds that can have a conversation. Who needs humans when you can have a nice convo with a bird? And I bet birds don't judge. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. Stick around for that one.
June is Youth Month in South Africa. Celebrate Africa's young voices with us. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on.
Eyes on my neck, eyes on my wrist. Many days I never sleep. Every day I'm chasing good life. Roller coaster, never tire.
Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel.
Hey, you gotta love radio. You gotta love Out and About, because if you can't go out there, why not bring them into studio? And yeah, I had to even touch up my lipstick, because this one I want to look nice, because we have a special guest. I wonder, do I look good for the special guest behind you there, Gisenia? Okay. Before we introduce Gisenia, we took a track called Cash App, and it's by Bella Schmurder, and it brings us to 11:30 Central African Time. It's been a while since I was so excited for an interview, because look how cute that is. That is so cute. Okay, so with me now, I have Gisenia, who is a founding director of of Naturally Captive, and she's a bird whisperer. And I said, girl, bring those birds. I mean, sometimes I think there'll be a point where I don't want to talk to people anymore, and I just want to have a bird that I can have a non-judgmental, creative, out of this world, up the sky kind of conversation, Gisenia, who's that next to you?
This is Malou. He's an umbrella cockatoo and he's 17 years old.
He's so cute. But what's the name again? Blue? Balloon?
Malou.
Say the name again?
Malou. The cockatoo. So it's
Malou. Oh, and look at him. He just looked straight at the screen. He's so cute. Right. Can he say something like good morning or something?
He doesn't actually talk that great. He makes a lot of sounds that sound like human voice.
Yeah.
Might say something, not on command.
Oh. Okay. So, but I'm sure you've had him for a while.
So Malou's actually only been with us for just under a year. He is a rescue. His previous owner had him for around 16 years, and then they did actually abandon him, unfortunately, because he had a few behaviors. So yeah, he's not been with us. Be here for the rest of his life. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, so that you said he's 17 years, ne?
Yes.
So his age by, how do you know like how old? Like when it comes to pets like rabbits, dogs rabbits and birds and lizards, like you don't how do you know with this one?
Well, he was actually owned by the same people from baby. So they bought him at a young age.
Okay.
And then when they surrendered him, how old exactly he was.
Okay, let's get back to you now and away from the showstopper behind you. What do you do at Naturally Captive?
So Naturally Captive is actually South Africa's first ever exclusive parrot training and behavior center. So what we're aiming to do is basically train people. We're trying to reach people to help their birds, because birds are extremely misunderstood creatures. People often get them on impulse and then are stuck with a wild animal at home with a lot of behavioral issues like aggression and screaming. So what we're trying to do is teach people how to live with these animals, how to care for them, and how to train them so that they can live their best lives.
Oh, wow. Look at how Malou is so well behaved. Like, I wonder if he knows that he is on the radio live, also streaming, because, wow, he's giving profile, like he's giving a freshly washed fur. Like, he just needs us to spray some, like, so it can be glowing and shiny fur. I just wish I could speak. Like, so cute though.
Yeah. He doesn't want to say anything. He's camera shy, apparently.
So does he speak when he feels like speaking? Or depends if you say something or if you give him something?
Reach really loud levels.
Yeah.
So when he wants to and make a noise, and he does speak, he's actually, a fun fact about him, he's actually named my mom and I.
Yeah.
He's given us names, which is kind of crazy. So he named me Robert, and he's named my mom Edward. So when he wants one of us, he'll...
goodness, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my word, that was so random. I could never think like it would just decide.
Right.
So how do you know then that it's calling you? Because maybe it's just a random name that he remembers.
So when he first came here, he actually didn't speak a lot, and he had a very different voice actually to what he has now. But since he spent time, he's tried to figure out a way to get our attention, and on different days he'll want a different one of us. So depending on who he wants, he'll be like Edward or Robert. If the wrong person goes out, he'll continue until the right person goes out.
I think he wants to look at you in the face. He's doing this. He's like, oh, isn't that the cutest thing ever? Wow, such a beautiful. So tell me, you do you just focus only on different species, like types of birds?
Specialize in all parrot species. Here's another one actually.
Let me see. So that's a parrot.
Yeah, so this is actually technically a parakeet. He's a smaller species of parrot.
Yeah, very small.
But yeah, we found every species of parrot, big and small, as you can see. And they all have we work with.
Oh, how cute is that? So wait, So only parrots you can keep and they won't fly away. Like, how does it work? Like, you can leave it there, it's not going to fly away.
Well, there you go. He said something.
Is that Malou speaking?
That is Malou. That's his version of speaking, yes.
Oh, nice. Hi, Malou. You are live, darling.
Do you know that? So when it comes to flight, it is actually a controversial subject.
Yeah.
Because obviously you think, okay, a bird can fly. If I take it outside, it's going to fly away.
Yeah.
So we actually have free flight training course and we have a free flight club here in Pretoria. And it is the best thing to allow your bird to fly. So a very common wing clipping. We do not agree with it here at Naturally
Wing clipping?
And we encourage wing clipping. So that's the process of taking a bird's primary feathers and you clip every alternating one or a few of them so the bird can no longer fly. But what this leads to is a series of health issues. So you're left with obesity, muscle atrophy, cardiovascular issues, compromised respiratory health. So that's really not the greatest way to deal with flight in birds. So what we tell people is if you're going to get a flying animal, you may your home to that animal instead of adapting.
Yeah.
We encourage people to train your bird to fly, and we teach people to teach their birds how to fly, and we teach them recall. And what that does is it's really a liberating thing for a bird because you're allowing it to be able to do what's most natural to it, and you're teaching it back to you. So in the event where your bird maybe flies off, opposed to a clip bird who wouldn't be able to come down to you, who would be a target for birds fly back down to you at safety. And we also teach them other things like predator aversion, skills like that. That is really, they're life-saving skills.
Oh, okay. These are people that have like birds as pets, ne?
Yes.
Oh, so they can go, just like people go to train their dog's behavior and you take them to dog behavior schools, you can actually go to naturally captive to learn how to train your bird.
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly.
But you only do parrots only?
Yeah, so currently we only do parrots. My history with animals is quite long. So I actually started out in wildlife rehabilitation and I did study canine behavior at some point, but my passion parrots, and they're the third most popular pet actually internationally after cats and dogs. So there is a big need, which is why we chose that niche, and we've decided to also work specifically with birds.
You know, how with you though, do you know everything, or are you still learning as you go? Because now my thinking is, every animal has like its own thinking. Like it can just think how it wants when it does. You know, it's not. I don't think it becomes socialized like we do. So, are there things that you're still discovering as you go about these parrots? And can one ever learn everything about behavior and all of that?
Absolutely not. So my belief and our belief here at Naturally Captive is we always want to be evolving with science and with newfound research. So everything we do, actually, we try to base on research and fact. And that's always changing. We're never, ever really going to be able to know everything. We always feel like we're scratching the surface because we always are learning new things, and they're always teaching us new things as well. And another thing with that is when we get clients in, we never like to compare their bird to a previous bird because, like you said, they're all so unique and individual. So we treat them as an individual.
So with Malou there, seated like that, how long can he be like cool, chilled like this now before he starts wanting to move? And does he just move when he wants to do it, or is it just like, I don't know?
Yeah, so he kind of has a mind of his own, to be honest. And what our course and what our methodology, our routine that we help people to apply with their birds helps is for your bird to be calm like this for most of the day. The birds typically very active in the early morning. Even if you watch them in the wild, they're very active in the morning and in the evenings, right before sunset. So that's when all of our birds get the most active. That's when we like to fly them and spend time with them, and that's when they talk and when they scream. So he will get more active as the day goes on. But he can sit like this quite he's quite content as long as we're with him. And just he's quite he's got a bit of separation anxiety, so he likes to be with.
Does he like humans or other birds? Like, what makes a parrot like this happy?
So cockatoos are quite difficult to socialize with other birds, even though in the wild they are very social. So Malou is a huge fan of people. We actually do shows sometimes where people come through on our open days, and he flies to people. He'll fly over your head. He'll land on your arms. People's bird. But in general, we like our bird to be paired off, and the plan will be in the future to get him a companion, one he clicks with, because birds naturally are so shouldn't be kept alone. So he is kept. We keep all our birds in an aviary setting. We have flight aviaries where they spend most of the day, and they can see each other and talk to each other. But yeah, it doesn't have a companion as of yet.
So if let's say I'm looking for a pet parrot, I can get one from you guys, or you don't. You don't sell birds.
So we don't sell, we don't trade, and we don't adopt out birds. We have amazing rescues in South Africa where you can apply to adopt birds. And in general, we really encourage people to adopt rather than buy, because, that's what leads to the issue of them being not cared for, is when people just go and buy them on a whim. Whereas rescues, such as tiki beaks and brainy birds, they really prepare you for what it's going to be like to own a bird and everything you need. So those are the people who we suggest if you'd like to adopt a bird.
Okay, and then how many birds do you have there in total?
We have 10 birds on the property. Currently 11.
Okay.
We have 10 of our own.
And do they just go quiet at the same time, or it's just always loud?
So again, because of the routine that we have them on and the naturally captive way, you're never going to have a bird who's silent, and that's the truth and the fact of the matter. You're never going to have a quiet bird, but you can have a relatively quiet bird as long as they're not screaming out of frustration. So our birds are pretty lively and a bit loud in the mornings, and as soon as they have their breakfast, they settle down for the day, and then they spend the day foraging and flying and exploring in their aviaries. And then as soon as the day starts to end, that's when it's probably the noisiest, especially with this guy.
That guy. Okay. Yeah.
Calling.
Yeah. Okay, you remind me of that lady in the fairy tale book. I think she was followed by birds or something. I forgot what the character's name was. Where she just has birds everywhere where she goes because of that. So the one that you put here can stay here for a while, or did it fly by itself? Yeah, that one, the one on the shoulder.
The small one, no, he just flew onto my shoulder.
Yeah.
We've also got another one. I know she's going to come to me now.
Yeah, let's see.
This is Jody. She's an African grey, Congo African grey. She's currently eating, so she's actually our most talkative. She's bizarre.
We interrupted her breakfast. It's a girl or a boy?
We're presuming girl, but she hasn't been DNA sexed yet, and she's
okay. Okay, that's why I was like, how do you check for gender on birds? So you gotta have to send in the DNA. You can't just be like, okay, it's got a bigger beak or something.
Well, it depends on the species. So there's some species who are sexually dimorphic, such as eclectuses, where the male is like bright green with a yellow bill and the female is red with a black bill. So they're really easy to tell. And then Malou's species is actually quite easy to tell most of the time as well, because the females tend to have a smaller beak and very red eyes. So we actually thought he was in the beginning, and we thought we got a second opinion. Yeah, he's so there's some that you can tell, but most you'd have to do a blood test and then get a DNA sample.
Okay. I mean, we've met the three birds. Are there more that we can see and say hello to?
Okay, there's one more. I'm not promising anything. She usually is quite loud, so I'm not going to be able to. I don't know. If
can I see?
Yeah. Okay, she's talking now.
Oh, hi.
So here comes the talk.
How are you? Hello.
Hello.
Look at me. Ooh. Ooh, how are you? Ooh.
Let me back up here so you can see.
Oh yeah, I want to see. So what are you giving them now?
These guys are eating almonds and he's having some banana chips.
Oh, okay. So is that it's not speaking, it's just making a sound.
She's speaking somewhat. So let me move her outside to hear you. So she speaks a little bit. She's actually swearing a little bit right now.
Oh, thank God.
But
I didn't hear that. We couldn't hear that.
So she's she swears a little bit, but she the words are a bit slurred.
Yeah.
But this guy also just said hello. I don't know if you heard that.
Is it
Malu
Malu?
decided to speak.
Is it Malu?
Malu.
Hi, Malu. Hi. So you just moved him from that thing where he was sitting to another thing. So he knows to sit there by the thing. I don't know what you call that thing where they sit.
This is a tea stand. Yeah, this is one
so
of
he
our
knows
tea stands.
when you put him there by the stand that he must wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much, yeah. He's getting a little antsy now because he sees treats. So we're giving him banana chips, which is really
okay. That is so cute. All right. And then you guys are based where?
We're based in Centurion, Pretoria, but our courses are available internationally through video conferencing. But our flight club is Centurion.
Oh, like what we are doing now. People they can consult with their birds and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's say I've got a pet parrot and I'm going away for like some time. I can leave it there with you.
No, so we don't offer boarding, but the nice thing about Naturally Captive is we have all the contacts you can need. So for all your parrot needs, you can contact us and we can then refer you to people who we know and who we trust. So we're not going to just refer you to, we're going to refer you to people who we know are going to take care of your birds the best and offer care and love and attention while you're away.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. This was really quite cool. I think as I get older, I love animals. I don't know. Like I love all kinds of animals. Well, not all kinds. Let me just retract that statement. Thank you so much for chatting to us this morning, Jazenia. And what are your social media handles before we say goodbye to you and Malu over there?
We are Naturally Captive on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and our website is www.naturallycaptive.com. So it's quite easy to remember. So for anything that you need to do with parrots, you can contact us.
So what if I find a parrot? Maybe I'm rescuing one and I don't know anything about it. What must I not do?
The first thing you can do, actually, it's hard to give you a list of what you shouldn't do, but if you're rescuing a bird, the best thing to do is to get in contact with a professional as soon as possible, and then we can guide you from there as to what to feed it and all of that, because there's a lot of incorrect information out there, especially with diet. So you can contact us or rescue nearby as soon as possible.
And do they carry disease? Why am I asking? Like if I find it, should I wear gloves and mask and stuff like that? Let's say I just find one that's injured.
Well, you can always take precautions because there's always something that birds can carry, obviously. Most pet birds don't carry anything, but there are certain diseases like avian beak and feather disease. There's not a lot of zoonotic diseases that can spread to humans, but you can always take precautions.
Okay. I think he wants more. Does he want more treats or he wants to speak?
He wants more treats and he's kind of mad at me that there's no treats left.
Oh, no. Bye, Malu. Do you think you can hear me? Bye, Malu. Can you hear me?
Say
bye. Bye, my friend. Birds of a feather. We are birds of the feather. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy your afternoon and thank you so much for introducing us to your friends.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
From birds to fashion designers to travel destinations to science and labs. And so, yeah, I think I have done it all this morning, but that was actually very, very nice. I loved it. The element of a visual exchange just makes it all possible for us. And I'm hoping that we can do more of these. I enjoyed that. I feel like I hung out with the birds while I'm in studio, yeah. Hey, Kitty.
Hence you're called Out and About, right?
Out and about.
Right.
Out inside the studio and about the outside.
You never know where you're going to be inside somewhere with someone. Yeah. In the spirit of Out and About.
We can teleport.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I loved that. I felt like I was out there.
But how cute is Malou?
It's so pretty. It's a very beautiful bird. But also like the fact that, it's very behaved. I'm like, it takes a lot of work though.
But she looks naughty though, because every time she inclined her head and she
like hello. I'm talking. That was such a beautiful bird. I like animals, but I'm not patient with animals because with everyone that you have, you must train, learn about it, and they have the mind of their own. So sometimes you may not be interested, but when it's time for the birds to be the birds, they don't care.
Yeah, I think it's because we're all working humans. So I think if you had the time, I think you'd be able to have the patience, and to understand, because understanding needs time. Because I appreciate the beauty of animals all around. But, certain animals, like for instance, I love panda bears.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Really?
I need to go to China just to go see and hug one. I'm obsessed.
Why
And I'm
panda bear? Because there are all kinds of bears though.
No,
bears.
I mean, a panda.
The colors.
No, it's also black and white, right? And it's cute and it's huggable.
It looks like a
and
bear for sure.
They seem like they're not very smart, but I think they are because they are loyal to having a lot of fun. So they repeat the same thing all the time. So if they fall, like a human being falls and like, okay, be careful next time not to fall. But pandas repeat the same cycle all the time. So it's like they bring out the funness out of life. They just seem, I can watch them all day if I'm not having a good day. Yeah, just to release.
Wow.
And just I love pandas.
Nice. I think they look berry, like teddy berry on TV and on videos, but I think in real life not so much.
No, I'm telling you, you should see how what do they call it? The panda nannies. How they treat them. They are very good with the human form. They're very human in a way.
Are you sure it's not the movies?
No, it's not. Like, because I follow a lot of like these sites.
Panda.
There's a particular one I think in China or something, and how they just interact with them, and they just have such a human form to them. So I'd love to go visit them and give them a hug. I don't know if they'll allow me, but yeah. Anyways,
Africa, if you want to get Kitty a gift for her birthday, a panda bear teddy bear.
I've already got one.
You can't have enough. You can even have a whole room packed with stuffed pandas.
I love panda bears. Listen, if you're having a bad day, just go to Instagram or Facebook and or onto the internet, and just type in panda bears and just watch them.
I watch dogs when I'm and they make me happy. Dogs
are just so cute.
Dogs and bunnies now because we have a bunny at home. So I have a bunny.
How's the maintenance? I've
That
once
girl.
babysat bunnies
Yeah.
before. I babysat about 5 bunnies for a friend of mine because we were traveling.
Okay, girl, now you took it to the next level.
I did. I babysat 5 bunnies.
5,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah,
Yeah,
5.
never.
5 rabbits. Yeah.
No, girl, you see, you went too far. One is normal. It's like saying I will babysit 5 dogs. No.
Yeah.
Bunnies are sweet, very quiet, eat a lot, and do their business everywhere a lot.
No,
so
but
you're
my
constantly
friend-
scooping up their business.
No,
because
but my friend lied to me. It was under false pretense because he said, "No, I'll bring 2." And I was like, okay, cool. I'll let my little one know. It's going to be a fun
it's
weekend
going to be
for
a
her.
fun thing for kids, yeah.
Next thing, he just dropped them off. I get to the door. It's 5. And now it's too late to say, no, take them back. He was already gone. Yeah.
You never. Yeah, they're cool. They're
It's a lot of work.
But I think if you're a first-time pet owner, you can start with a bunny to learn. But every animal is high maintenance. But they're good because as long as you've given them specifically their diet, they don't eat everything, specifically their diet, and then you litter train. They don't make noise. But they're very helpful to your furniture. All my electrical cables.
I think dogs are the best way to start.
Yeah.
Bunnies are a lot of work because you can't interact with them. Like
You
touching,
can interact with them.
It's just
strategically.
But to touch, they run away.
Yeah, strategically.
You know,
But
Anyways.
be careful. Your furniture will be bitten. Your cables, your charger. They love chargers. Like
You need
leave
a
your charger-
cage though.
You're not allowed to cage animals. But
But like a proper the way they've got space,
you
like
put
a
them in
massive
their
one.
space.
Yeah, like
you
I
must put
just
them in their
we had a massive cage, and they had like their little drawer of water, their little food, but the poop and the urine. Oh my gosh!
I mean, I think we need to have a pet show, my friend. Look at us being pet ambassadors. Hello. What's happening on the music side of things?
Oh yes, that.
Which is we forgot. That's why we are here in the first place.
No, listen, you can expect really great stuff for Africa Chart Toppers, and we're checking out top 10 trending hits in South Africa in no particular order. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's all about trending. I mean, yes, you can say there's a number 1 song right now, but we are specifically focusing on sounds that are trending in South Africa, and then we're also gonna go across to Zimbabwe and check out the top 5 trending tunes as well. And then we're going to focus on Tammy Moyo, who's one of the biggest stars right now. So we're just going to zone into her a little bit, have a conversation with her a bit through her music.
Yes.
And then we're also going to check out the top 5 trending songs in Malawi. So we're going to Malawi, Zimbabwe, and we're keeping it here at home as well.
Lovely. It's going to be a stellar show. As for me and my birds, I'm also flying away out of here. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So goodbye.
Her name is Puleng Molebatsi, and she's on Out and About.
Waiting be this one like this. Been through many things, many gist. Oh, I still find my peace in mother. Oh, but they do like say me, I know they see. Like say I know the which kind person be this? Oh, waiting be this one.